Yeah, yeah, you can do that. What's happening? What's happening? Hey, what's going on? How's everybody doing? How y'all doing? How you doing this evening? Hey, listen, wherever you are, where you're tuning in from, listen, why don't you stop and take some time? Help me. I want to invite you to help me tonight. Y'all know how we do it every week. I want you to take some time, help me to share this post on your page right now with somebody. Let's connect with somebody on your page. Tonight, right now, 7 p.m. Listen, it is Wednesday Night Live. And on Wednesday Night Live, y'all know what we typically do. We have Bible study, but we're doing something a little bit different this month. I want to invite you to help me share this. As a matter of fact, let me just take some time to welcome you. If you're visiting with us for the first time, my name is Pastor Stephen, and I am the lead pastor at Journey of Faith United Methodist Church right here in Humble, Texas. And it is my pleasure, it is my delight to be your host on tonight. I'm excited about what's getting ready to go down. Y'all just don't even understand how excited I am. I'm trying to be cool. I tell my leadership team all the time, I'm trying to be cool when I'm excited about something. But man, I feel like a little kid right now because I've invited two of my special guests tonight who are my brothers from another mother. When I tell you we got history, and we're just gonna have some conversation tonight. We're gonna have some conversation. So y'all just kick back, relax. I know it's typically Bible study, and yeah, y'all gonna hear some Bible scripture come out of these preachers tonight as well. But listen, tonight I want y'all to get ready for what's getting ready to go down. We get ready to boss up tonight. All right, listen, we're starting a new series this month called Focused Forward. What does that mean, Pastor Steve? This series is going to be focused on what it means to be a committed a believer, a committed person, committed to relationship with God. We're going to be talking about what it means to have focus. So often we're distracted by the challenges and the problems and the trials of life. We're going to talk about that tonight with these brothers. And then lastly, we want to talk about what it means to be somebody that's moving forward, not becoming complacent, not standing in place. So I want y'all to get ready. Why don't y'all help me take some time and let's share this post on your page. Please, come on, help me do that right now. As a matter of fact, y'all know what we do. Wherever you're tuning in from, why don't you take some time and drop me. I'm looking at this live chat box right now. Y'all know how we do it. Drop a chat, drop a note in the chat box. Let me know where y'all tuning in at, where you're tuning in from. Come on. Let's do it right now. Come on, y'all, drop us a chat, drop us a line in there. Where you tuning in from? The line is lighting up. Y'all, come on in. Come on in. All right. Well, so I won't go for too much longer. I want to stop and I want to take some time to do some introductions on these two brothers that are with us tonight in the person of Brother Larry Roberts Jr. and my other brother, Brother Derek. We call him Swole because he's a beast on the bass guitar. Y'all, we'll talk about that tonight. But Brother Derek Swole Ray is with us. Larry Roberts. Both of them hail from Chicago, Illinois. Chicago, Chi-Town natives, grew up in the city. And so we're going to talk to them tonight. As a matter of fact, I had bios, but I think it'll be a lot cooler for you all to hear about them, hear from them, where they come from, what they got going on. One of the things that is important to me in this season with our church, especially as we move into this series title called Focus Forward. One of the things that's important to me as a leader is to empower others. Some people may have been feeling like they're not competent enough to move forward. You know, pandemic is going on, and so many people have been arrested. Your forward progression has been arrested. Your thought process has been arrested by having to be at home, being social distance, masking up. You know, the coronavirus cases are up, they up and down. Politicians, city officials can't get it together. They arguing, going back and forth. But one thing I know for sure is that when we trust God, when we focus in on God and what God has to say to us, I guarantee you He'll help us focus on that very thing that we need to do in order for us to move forward. And so I want you all to hear from some brothers that I respect, from these brothers that I respect. I respect their hustle, what they're doing, what they got going on, and how they're making an impact in the community. Just before I ask them to come and share, just share a little bit about them, where they're from, and then we'll move a little bit further. I want to share with you all, there's a passage of scripture, all right, found in Philippians chapter 3, all right? And this particular scripture becomes the house scripture for this particular series, all right, and for this theme that we're entering in on. Check this out. It says this, Philippians chapter 3, verse 12. Not that I have already obtained this or have already reached the goal, but I press on to make it my own, because Christ Jesus has made me his own. Beloved, I do not consider that I have made it my own. Paul says, I have not arrived. I don't feel like I made it, but this is what he says. But this one thing I do, forgetting that which lies behind and straining forward to what lies ahead, I press on toward the goal for the prize of the heavenly call of God, which is in Christ Jesus. Paul says, life is going to happen. Challenges will happen. Trials will come. Situations will come. Circumstances will happen. But I choose to continue to move forward. And the way that I do that is I'm keeping my eyes on Jesus, who's calling me to come forth. So without further ado, I want to introduce to you my brother, Brother Larry Roberts Jr., who's with us on tonight. And I want to ask Brother Larry, come on, talk to us. Tell us who you are, where you come from, man. Talk to us. Larry is a CEO, so I'm gonna just let my friend, my brother Larry, talk to you on tonight. Talk to me, Larry. Where you at, man?
I'm just a little city boy, man. Just want to try to run on and see what the end's gonna be. But hey, Pastor Steve, man, I appreciate you having me on your show tonight. It's definitely a privilege and a pleasure and an honor, especially being on here with my bro, Swole. But man, pretty much, man, I'm a musician, and I'm a business owner of 29 years this year. I've been in business, man. I've been playing drums and keys all my life. Songwriter as well. I've had the opportunity to travel the world, playing and doing what I love to do most. And I've been cutting hair, man, for 35 years. And that's pretty much what I do. So that's just like a little tidbit, of kind of sort of what I do. I'm sure we'll get into the guts of everything a little bit later, man. But that's pretty much sums up who I am and what I do. And I'm honored again to be, a part of your show today.
29 years as an entrepreneur, 35 years cutting hair. Listen, and when I tell y'all, Larry is making moves. Larry's making moves. We're going to get into the guts of that in a minute. But listen, this dude right here, y'all don't understand. I wouldn't let nobody touch my head when I lived in Chicago. Nobody could touch my head and cut my hair but Larry Roberts. As a matter of fact, even after we moved here to Texas, every time I go home, the only person I would go to, matter of fact, when I knew I was going home, I wouldn't even cut my hair that week. Sometime I would wait about 2 weeks because I knew I was getting ready to go home. I would line myself up. And then when I knew I was getting ready to go home, I was going to Larry because I was going to get a fresh haircut. All right. Larry cuts everybody's hair in Chicago. All right. He is the man. We're going to talk about that a little bit more. All right. 29 years. Larry, we're going to come back to 29 years. Swole, come on, man. Talk to us, man.
Pastor Steve, how are you, man? Thank you again. Honored, and I'm privileged to be on the Bible study, this chat with you and my boy, Larry, man. Thank you so much. My name is Derek Ray. People call me Swole. They've been calling me that since I was a kid. We'll get into that later. We'll talk about that later. I'm a professional musician. I'm a father of 3. And I own a clothing brand, a lifestyle brand, Faith Moves. I've been operating for 2.5, 3 years now. That pretty much sums me up right now. That's my life. I'm a Christian musician, travel the world, playing with different artists. God has privileged me, and he's granted me the opportunities to travel the world, just like Larry said, and do what we love to do. And crossed paths with Steve at St. James, and we've been brothers ever since. So I'm honored to be on this call with you guys today.
So y'all, you know, Swole said something. We all met up, and Larry actually was the brain head with all of that. That pulled all of us together. And at St. James Ministries in Chicago, the late Bishop W.J. Campbell, and we would play. I mean, shoot, we would rehearse. Was it on Tuesday nights? Tuesday evenings, we would come to rehearsal about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and then at 7 o'clock we had choir rehearsal. 6 o'clock there was choir rehearsal, and then right after that, right into Bible study every week like clockwork. But when I tell you the chemistry that we developed over the years playing together, the band was so bad, y'all, that folk around the city and even the outskirts of the Chicagoland area, either they tuned into the radio broadcast every Sunday night because they wanted to hear what we were going to play,
or they showed up,
or they would travel in, right? They would travel in from different places, Indiana, Michigan, Wisconsin, different places, just to see what we were going to do at that time. And we had the distinct privilege at that time of sitting under the professor himself, Dr. Ricky Dillard, who, you know, Ricky was on us, but he made sure he made sure to guide us as a director. And we did everything that we could to ensure that we accompanied his directorship with the choir. And so that was just an honor and a privilege for us always to be together from back in the day. Swole, you all, y'all, I've been rocking it. Faith Moves is a brand that is blowing up around the country, and we're going to get into that here in just a little bit. But I want to go back to my brother Larry. And so, y'all, there's 3 things that I want to talk about tonight. One of those things is a commitment. Talk to me, you know, about your journey, Larry, from starting to cut hair 35 years ago, and now having been in business some 29 years, man, as an entrepreneur. And now you have multiple colleges, barber colleges, and then you're also still doing the program down in the county jail, where you're teaching men, giving them a career so that when they come out and get back on the streets, they ain't got to go back to doing what they were doing, but they actually have a craft in hand, something that they can call their own and utilize as a tool to help them in society, back into civilization. So man, talk to me. What was that journey like? You 35 years ago, man. You were how old?
Man, I was 13.
Dang.
I was 13, 35 years ago. Basically how that began, my dad and my mom decided to build a house out in the suburb, and it wasn't a lot of people that looked like me. So, you know, I needed to get my hair cut on the regular. So I went to Walgreens, man, and bought a pair of clippers for $19 and start cutting my own hair. No, I actually got a pair of Andis that didn't adjust.
Yeah.
So yeah. So I was in the bathroom cutting my hair. My mom said, "What you doing?" I said, "Cutting my hair." She said, "No, you're not in my bathroom." So I had to go down in the basement, man, and I had a mirror like this. I'm like, well, how am I gonna see the back of my head? You know what I'm saying? So my father said, Fox, let him cut his hair in the bathroom. He'll clean it up. And it began from there, man. And I would go around telling people, hey, man, you know, if you let me cut your hair, if I mess you up, I'll pay you $3. But if I do a good job, you had to pay me $3, man. And I end up, you know, traveling around to do that and made the best of it. And when I was 17, I had a whole barbershop in my basement, man. I had another guy who was cutting in my basement with me. I had 2 chairs in there. You know, I cut everybody from LT Hutton, you know, to in my basement to Patrick. I mean, everybody. Look, I want to start naming names, but everybody used to get their hair cut in my basement, man. And on 17, I decided, hey, this is what I want to do. I want to go to barber school. But then I was still, running my dad's restaurants as a teenager. I was working like 30, 40, 50, 60 hours a week at my dad's restaurants and cutting hair. Then I started going to barber school at 17, doing music full time. I was in church 3, 4, 5 days a week. Man, I'm tired. I'm about ready to retire right now. I'm so tired.
So man, but this right here is like the epitome of commitment, right? In that you see the goal. What was the goal for you, Lero? Because man, you're in school, you got a barbershop, you're running a barbershop out of your parents' basement, working 60 hours at your parents' restaurant. I mean,
had to get saved every Friday night at church.
Yeah, there you go.
Every Friday night.
Church kid. That's all you have. That's right, y'all.
I used to sneak spit. I used to have to sneak spit on my face, man, in order to be able to sit down, because they even let you sit down till they feel like you got something. So all of that. But what really inspired me, man, and drove me, my dad is my hero, man. Like, I watched from my dad, like, as a real man. I seen my dad make sacrifices. I seen my dad, take the license plates off the car, man. I'm like, Dad, what you doing, man? I'm turning it in, man. I can't afford it no more. I'm like, no, you can't do that. And I remember my dad had we own Larry's Ribs, and I got a barber shop, man. We doing all this stuff, man. And my dad, he went and bought him a Ford Escort. And when I knew he was coming to the barber shop, I would run outside and make sure that he drive up to the thing, because I ain't want nobody to see it.
You didn't want nobody to see that.
Yeah, man, because I was embarrassed, man. I'm like, man, dude, you Larry's Ribs, man. You play organ for James Cleveland, Albertine, and all these folks, man. But the truth of the matter, man, is that when I think back on it, man, my dad made sacrifices that I later on in life had to make as well, and I learned from him. And I learned that, it was real man of him to even do that, because what was important was for him to make sure that his family was okay and to make sure that his businesses were okay. You know what I'm saying? So I'm a firm believer that, you have to go through in order to get to, but it's how you deal with what you go through that determines how you come out, man. And it hadn't always felt good. Everything from, I wrote a book called Suicide Is Not the Answer, man. Everything from, not wanting to live at one time in my life, man, because I just didn't understand it. I didn't understand what God was doing. Like, God, I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't get high, I don't do this, I don't do that. You know what I'm saying? But we have to be careful not to allow our gift to take us someplace that our character can't handle. And I believe that my character wasn't ready for this gift that I had, man. So when I look back on everything that I had to go through, I tell people all day long, man, I used to wear it well. Y'all know me. I drove the best cars. I had the nicest clothes. The whole 9 yards, man. I would leave out the house, man, killing the game. And then I would come back home, and I made sure I fulfilled all of my obligations, because I wanted to make sure I stayed true to who I was obligated to, because I didn't want them to fail because of something that I didn't do. That's why I'm always on time. That's why I always, do what I'm supposed to do for the most part, man. But then I would come back home and I would be balled up, man, and like a baby in darkness, depressed, sad. And I would do this every single day, man, and nobody never knew it. But when I did reach out to people to tell people, hey, man, I'm hurting, can you help me? People like, man, whatever. Well, they seen the Mercedes I was driving, or the Navigator I was driving, or they looked at that part of it, and they didn't think that anything was wrong, man. But something deeply was wrong, man. But but I stayed on the wall. I didn't move. I stayed committed to, I always paid my tithes. I always paid my offering. I stayed committed to church. I stayed committed to being in the barbershop at 4 o'clock in the morning, cutting hair all day long. I stayed committed to all of that, man, taking care of my daughter. And man, I will say now today, during COVID, these are literally like the best days of my life, man, like for real, seriously. And God has honored, God has actually granted me, some grace and mercy, man. And I'm doing better than I've ever done before in business, man. And I'm so grateful to God for it. So basically, man, I stayed committed, and I stayed on the wall. I didn't move, man, because I love what I do. I love music, and I love being a businessman, and I love cutting hair to no end, man. So yeah.
So Lero, let's go back. I started cutting my hair with a pair of clippers from Walgreens. That turned into a barbershop in my parents' business, in my parents' basement, while running, managing basically my parents' barbecue restaurant, which ultimately led to me moving into my first barbershop outside of the house.
Mhm.
How many now shops have you had prior to starting the colleges?
So right now, so I had a few shops, but right now to date, I'm licensed in over 22 states in my master license because I believe when opportunity knocks on the door, you need
Mhm.
to be prepared. So I've started preparing myself for what it is I want to do. When I go on tour overseas, man, I wear Larry's Barber College shirt and I
Mhm.
take a picture of myself and say, hey, I'm gonna have a school here one day. Or I go to the next place, wear my Larry's Barber College shirt, take a picture, I'm gonna be here one day. So to date, man, I'm licensed in over 22 states in my master license. I have 8 schools right now, with 4 more getting ready to open. There are 7 city colleges here. None of them have dormitory housing, but Larry's Barber College is the first and only barber school that has dormitory housing, man. I have transportation, the whole 9 yards, man. So I dream big. I don't sleep good at night at all. I probably sleep maybe about 4 or 5 hours, man, because
Mhm.
my wheels don't stop turning, man. So
I know
yeah,
something about that, bro. I know
yep,
something about that these days, especially is
yep.
that you're
Visionary, man.
constantly, yeah, you're constantly thinking, man, what if we did? What if we? Oh man, I could do this. Oh man, we could
Yep,
do this, right?
yep.
And the I think with the commitment that you've had with that over these last 35 years, man, and the follow through. I think you said it best is that you don't wait for opportunity to present itself and then start trying to prepare.
Absolutely.
But I mean, let's go back to all of us, rehearsing every week, and getting better, nurturing our craft, nurturing the sound that was coming out of St. James, and then ultimately that preparation from being around the iron that was in that rehearsal room on King's Drive, 43rd and King, by the way. There was iron that was sharpening iron, and ultimately it was preparing all of us for where we were going. I mean, shoot, you had Reese that was coming back and forth as well, was playing with Destiny's Child at the time, and everybody and their mama. And I think you're right, man. All of that preparation prepared us for going on and doing tours and playing on this record and that record. Swole, talk to me, man. Let's talk about your journey and the commitment that it required of you. Just let's start from music all the way into Faith Moves.
I'm kind of the polar opposite of Larry. If we could be honest, I didn't grow up with my parents. I didn't grow up with my dad. I grew up with my mom and my grandparents. My mom had an addiction to drugs, so I really didn't have her. So grew up in church, just like Larry said, you grow up in church, you in church 4 or 5 days out the week. My grandmother drove the church van. So we were the first one in the van, we was the last one home. First one at church, we the last one to leave.
Yeah, yeah.
You kind of you get this love for church, and then music starts to play a part in it. But then for me, my grandmother told me music wasn't a job. You can't do music full time. You have to find you have to get like your cousin Mike and go to Comcast, which was the cable company back then, or Prime Cable, I'm sorry, cable company, or you got to get a postal job, or you got to go to college. And I stood in my grandmother's living room and said, I'm gonna play music full time. That's what I want to do. And I was committed to it. It's like Larry said, it ain't always been a great situation to be. And I remember playing at St. James making $150 a week. And I had 2 kids.
$150 a week. Yes.
I had 2 kids. I was making $150 a week. And it's like Larry said, you commit yourself to it. And I'm just now in the last 6-7 years really seeing the benefits of all of those years pouring into music, midnight musicals, like you said, 4 o'clock rehearsal. Right after rehearsal, you go into choir rehearsal. Right after choir rehearsal, you're at church till 11 o'clock. Yeah. And you do that at least 3 times a week. And it paid off because you commit yourself. And once you commit yourself to something, and I really mean commit, like Larry said, it's 30 plus years for Larry. And he's just now seeing the benefits of it. So to be able to commit to something and not see the benefits of it in the beginning could be discouraging. I got discouraged. Like you watch all of your friends. There were people that got on before me, musicians that went out on tour and played bigger gigs before me. And still, I would say it's going to happen for me. It would be discouraging, but you have to I had to encourage myself, even like Larry said, on the way back home from St. James, crying home, like real tears, like,
Real
man,
tears.
when is my turn gonna come?
Yeah.
When is it gonna happen for me? And you have to still believe while you're going through the process. So at 14, 15 years old, I started playing bass. I got my first bass at like 15, 16 years old.
Yep. Yeah, as a matter of fact, Swole, because when we first met about that time, I think you had been playing about 5 or 6 years, something like that.
Yep, exactly. And I had a kid, so I was the youngest one in the band, bringing a son to rehearsal all the time. My son who plays drums right now used to sit behind Larry every week and literally pay attention. So this conversation between us is like, it's crazy because Larry's been something to me that he don't really understand that he's been. He's been an uncle to my son, but now that I'm looking back at it, his business sense, I've watched him all of these years. Now I'm doing business. He was the first person to call and say, hey man, you got all your stuff together? Did you get your stuff copywritten? Did you get your stuff? This is it legal? And it's amazing how God lined us up. This was 20 years ago. My son is 21 right now. So to be committed and not even see the results of it, you gotta love what you do. Good, bad, or ugly. Man, and it was bad for a long time. Like, if we could be completely honest, I didn't really start touring and making real money until maybe 6, 7 years ago. And I've been playing and touring since 2001. I literally just started being able to enjoy the money that I made maybe 6 years ago. All of those years grinding and trying to make it happen. This is before Faith Moves. This is before the clothing line and the brand came. It's just a commitment that you have to see something to the very end of it. You know what I mean? It can't just be about, oh, I started it and now I want to see it happen. Like, what if it never happens to the magnitude that you wanted to happen? Are you going to give up? What if Larry never got to a barber college? Would he still be committed to it and still just cut hair in his own barbershop? But he committed. I remember, I tell Larry all the time, I watched the progression of it and it's encouraging. It's really, really encouraging to see.
So crazy enough, man. I think the first college opened right after I moved to Texas for Larry. And Larry, I remember coming back home and I was coming to get my haircut and I showed up at 105th and I'm, at the one building, but I'm looking across the street and I'm like, wait a minute. Because I didn't, even when I was coming to get my haircut, I didn't even ask. Larry, I didn't say, I didn't ask, and Larry, he was busy at the time. He probably didn't even think to tell me, oh yeah, by the way, we moved across the street.
Right.
So, I'm pulling up and I'm looking like, wait, and I look across the street like, oh, Larry, they didn't open up the college, right?
Exactly.
But you're right, man, just to see that progression, man. Heck, because let me see, Swole, the first tour was it Dave Hollister?
I was on tour. I was on tour with Dave Hollister for 3 months. I got 2 checks.
I remember that.
Wow. Man, 2 checks out of a 3-month stint.
Yeah.
That was my first tour.
Folk
and that was
know.
2002.
Folk don't know.
They don't understand. It's that commitment thing that Larry talked about. We wanted to be a part of touring world so bad that we toured and we were broke.
Hey, so at St. James, we had like an 11-piece band, and what I mean, y'all probably know, but what some people don't know is that I committed my checks plus extra money to get the other people, the other band players, because I wanted a dope band. So I was really not getting paid money because I would take my money and gift it to everybody else. Like we had horn players, I was paying them out of my pocket, man. So these are the sacrifices that, and again, people think, oh man, you balling. No, you don't have to be balling in order to want to make the sacrifice, man. And then back to kind of what Swole said, man, you got to truly love what you do. If you love what you do, man, by any means necessary, you gonna make happen what needs to happen, man. So getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning, cutting hair, man, and then leaving from there and then going to rehearsal or going to a gig or going to church, man, or going on tour and being a barber on tour. So you got to take your clippers, so you cutting hair and you playing, 15, 20 songs a night, man. So, man, you got to love what you do, man. If you don't love what you do, then I don't know what to say.
Yeah, get out of it.
Yeah. So y'all are saying that commitment requires sacrifice.
Oh, yeah.
Sacrifice.
But not only does commitment require sacrifice, that sacrifice requires discipline.
Absolutely. You got to be disciplined.
Right.
You got to be disciplined, man.
So then, y'all, and let me tell y'all, these, and when I tell you some of the most humblest brothers, and you all are hearing the sacrifices that they have made throughout the years, and are just now seeing the fruit of the sacrifices that they made. I think any farmer that you talk to will tell you that when you first till the ground, that the ground does not yield the fruit right away. Some farmers have to test the ground to see if that soil is worth what. Actually, they have to test that ground, test that soil to see what's worth planting in the soil. You can't plant anything in every soil.
That's good.
That's true.
And on top of that, not only can you plant everything in every soil, when you start the work thereof, it's not going to always yield what you're looking for it to yield right away. But what we're talking about here is the need to stay committed, right? Which means that it's going to require sacrifice. That sacrifice is going to require your time. Not only is it going to require your time, but it's going to also require some other resources that you may have. Leroy, I remember us having these conversations about how he was paying out of pocket to help because he wanted to ensure that we had the best. All right, everybody didn't see that, and again. So these are some of the humblest brothers. They ain't gonna tell you everything that they did. We're only talking about this right now because I asked them to share and to be as transparent as they prayerfully could in this particular conversation. Swole, y'all, some of y'all have been able to enjoy some of the Grammy Award shows and all of these different shows. Swole actually plays bass for Justin Timberlake. All right, travels with Justin Timberlake, but you just heard him talk about how when he did his first 2 or 3 month tour, he only got 2 checks for that, but he remained steadfast in his commitment. Man, listen, this is a blessing right here, and I see some that are dropping some notes in the live chat. So you have gotten to this point. You're just now starting to see, and Justin Timberlake is not the only person. I mean, you Mary J. Blige, and you just keep going down the line. You're at this place now. You're starting to see the fruit of the sacrifices over the years.
Uh-huh.
You both of y'all are fathers, man. This is what I love, because as fathers, as African American men, you have been able to model to your children that same steadfastness, that consistency, that what it takes to be committed to something and to make those sacrifices, right? So talk to me, man. You got to this point. How long has it been now that you started Faith Moves?
2.5 years.
2.5 years, and you get to this place where you now start having the focus. What was the focus like for you making that decision to start Faith Moves?
Well, honestly, I didn't want to do it. At the time, I was on tour, like you said, with Justin Timberlake. I'll never forget it. I was in Canada, and my oldest daughter, Valencia, she FaceTimed me and said, "Chump, have you heard the new Cardi B song?" Mm-hmm. I was like, you know, I ain't heard no Cardi B song. I don't listen to that. She's like, "No, you should really listen to it. It's really good." So I get up, I go to the gym, and I put this song on, and I hear her talking about money moves, and money moves this and money moves that. Mm-hmm. And I asked God while I'm on this treadmill, like, what do? We don't have money to make moves like that. We haven't gotten to our money yet. So what do we do to make these moves that she's talking about. And I heard clear as day, God said you make faith moves. You believe and you have the faith for everything that you want to accomplish and everything that you want to do. So
Yes.
I heard him loud and clear, but I didn't hear him. You know what I mean? I try to like put it out of my mind, and then it kind of hit me again, like faith moves, and it turned into this clothing line. And when God gave it to me, I said, I don't want to do this. I don't want to sell clothes. I'm a musician. I worked all of this time. I've given all of these years into being a musician. I'm finally at this point. Justin Timberlake, you got Rihanna. I'm where I've worked to be. And he was like, if you don't do what I tell you to do, you have to watch somebody else be successful at the very thing I wanted you to be successful at. So
wait. Stop right there. If you don't do what I tell you to do, Larry, slow. If you don't do what I tell you to do, you're going to watch somebody else do what I gave you to do.
Yep.
The same thing that God told Moses to do in the Old Testament, in Exodus, as a matter of fact, God had told Moses, he says, lay the staff on the rock. Right? When you lay the staff on the rock, the water's going to come out the rock. Moses had allowed the people to upset him.
Yeah.
And instead of doing what God said for him to do, he hit the rock. Water came out. But the sacrifice there was that because Moses did not heed the voice of God to begin with, right? Moses had to watch Joshua take the children of Israel into the promise.
Yeah.
All these sacrifices I'd have made to get to this point. I've been dealing with all of these crazy folk. I've been going through all of this stuff. I'd have made this sacrifice after this sacrifice, this, that, and the other. And you mean I missed the promise because I didn't heed what you said to do that? Dang.
Yeah.
God says to you, if you don't do what I said, you're going to watch somebody else. I'm going to give that idea to somebody else.
I'm going to give it to somebody else, and you'll have to watch them be successful at it. So when I said, okay, I don't come from a background. My family is we're not a family that we come from money. So I had no clue what I was doing. I didn't know where to get shirts from. I didn't know where to get hats from. I didn't know who to reach out to. And the second I said yes, everything lined up. My guitar tech for Justin Timberlake used to own an embroidery company in Long Beach, California. So he heard me talking about it, and he said, you should call my guy in Florida. I'll give you his number. So everything I needed to happen was already connected to me every day for a year and a half. My guitar tech owned the type of company that I needed to get started what God had told me to do.
I always tell people, that you're connected to somebody, and your connection to somebody will lead to something great if you tap into the connection, of those that you're connected to, right?
Yeah.
I think that so often we miss out on the resources that are right under our nose, right? God, he sets them right there at your guys. All you got to do is reach out and touch it. But so often we so distracted by, oh man, what if, or what if I fail? Or, and the intimidation, you're intimidated by the unknown, right?
Yeah.
You're intimidated by we tend to roll better when it's something that we can tangibly put our hand on, or that we're, if we're already in a place and we're comfortable in that place, we'll stay there. And the whole idea, this theme that we're talking about and focusing forward, it's all about that very thing of shutting out the distractions of life, right? And shutting out the fear, and shutting out the intimidation factor, and even shutting out our anxieties and focusing in, like you said, on what God said to do, and then making the move in faith.
Yeah.
Everywhere in the Bible, from Genesis to Revelation, everything is all about faith, and it is about making a move. You and I talked about this a couple of weeks ago when we were talking, when I reached out to you initially, is that faith is an action, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's all about an action. It's about something that you put. There's a forward progression to working your faith. But if you never work your faith, you will never experience the magnificent, the mind-blowing things that God has for you to do if you stay in your place of comfortability and that place of familiarity, right? I like Vashawn Mitchell's song. He says, blow my mind, right? Do the impossible. Because I believe that Ephesians is true. Ephesians 3:20. He is able to do exceedingly and abundantly above what we can ask according to his power. According to the power that's at work in us. But it's incumbent upon us to work that. And hear you saying, I stepped out. I cannot step out in faith and God not respond.
It's impossible.
Yeah. Larry.
But the thing about it though is that, let's just say, just coming up in church, man, we were promised, quote unquote, that if you live right, heaven belongs to you. You treat your neighbor right, heaven belongs to you. So I expected to have everything that belonged to me just because I was living the life that I was told that I was supposed to live. Mm-hmm. But that was when I was young, and I'm 47, grade be 48 now. And for so many years, I didn't feel like heaven belonged to me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So you can step out on faith all you want to, man. But again, how it's how you deal with what you go through that determines how you come out of it. Sometimes you step out there, but then when it's not working the way you feel like it needs to work, then you know what I'm saying, we ready to bail out, but again, man, you know what I'm saying? Hey, you just gotta stick with it. And I believe that's what Swole and I both did, man. Days that I literally cried, man. I would come home and I would lay on my bed and I would cry. Like, God, I didn't understand. I thought God hated me, man. I'm like, man, what am I doing? What am I doing so wrong, man? But what I had to understand is that, God blesses who he wants, when he wants, and how he wants. Yeah. And I had to stop comparing, because church also kind of teach you how to be judgmental. It's like, if they weren't like us, then it's like, how are they being blessed and we're not being blessed? You know what I'm saying? But I couldn't question the way God did things, man. But what it did was it just made me stronger, and when things didn't happen for me, God's like, okay, let me see what you're gonna do. I stayed committed to family. I stayed committed to, church, and stayed committed to God, stayed committed to paying my tithes and my offering, to this day. And since I've been a shorty, man, and in the Bible, when God says will doesn't mean I might, I'm gonna think about it. Will means that he's gonna do it, but it's not always in our time. You know what I'm saying? So I realized that God had to make sure that I could handle where he's taking me. And I was always prophesied to that I was going to be the successful businessman, be a multimillionaire. And I didn't understand it. I didn't see how. But when I tell you today, I understand and I see how. And when I tell you it's happening before my very eyes, it's amazing, man. And it just makes me want to grow stronger in God. It makes me want to, have even a more pure heart. It makes me want to live more for God, man. It makes me, want to continue to do what I need to do in order to be to help my brothers and help my sisters, man, if they want to be helped, man. But the warfare is so crazy, because I asked Pastor Hannah one time, I said, Pastor Hannah, I said, man, why do saints got to go through so much? He said, Larry, is warfare. So, whenever you try and do right, evil is always around, man. And I just thank God for just being able to surpass that. And hey, man, I'm ready, man. I'm ready, bro.
Larry, I hear you, man, because in essence, you're right. That is the main thing here. That it's important for us to understand that when we're distracted, and our focus is off, it's all because there's a war that's going on. There's a spiritual war, right? the spiritual war does not want us to see the greater blessing on the other side of the war that's happening. One of the things I've learned to do in these last few years, man, whenever whenever I feel like I'm in that place of challenge, man, because I've been there, same thing, man, just trying, just, man, balled up and just, asking God, why, man, why, man, I can do, and one of the things, man, that I found, whatever that I find myself in that place, man, God always has a way of coming and confirming his promise. He always has a way of coming and confirming that he's still with you, right? And it's all about being able to hear that, right? One of the things I hear y'all saying is, man, that y'all kept hearing God, all along the way, even to this place today where you are. It's just hearing God and heeding the voice of God. Because warfare is going to happen. Why? Because the adversary does not want us to achieve that or to walk into the promise or into our destiny, right? That thing that God has purpose for us to do. So, man, you all, February 2003, 2021, and we're going to shut it down. You are witnessing real-time fruitfulness from all of your labor over the years. What are you doing? How have you made up in your mind, come what may, I'm moving forward? How have you determined you are not going to let anything stop you or stand in your way from moving forward?
For me, it's still, it goes back to that commitment that you made all these years ago. Just committing to the whole process of it. Like you said, it's 2021. No one knows what this year is going to be. We didn't know what 2020 was going to be. As Larry, there were so many things planned for last year, so many artists to play for, so many tours to be on. And for all of that to be snatched away, you go back to what we said before, believing and committing to what we committed to all of these years ago. I'm committed to hearing the voice of God and doing whatever he tells me to do. Mm-hmm. Whatever he has in my path for me to do, I'm committed to destroying whatever is going to take me away from that. You know what I mean? I'm committed to staying in that place of whatever you tell me to do, Lord, whatever you have for me. You've already proven that my yes is going to connect me to all of the dots that I have. So whatever you say, whatever you're doing, yes, I'm in whatever we got to do. It's just the commitment.
Man, you sound like we've been talking about commitment for the last month, and essentially that's everything that I've said for the last 5 weeks, right? Is forget I will step over, I will run through, I'm gonna step around, but I'm gonna keep going and moving toward that. Larry, talk to me. What have you done, man? Where are you at with that, man? Moving forward.
Man, first of all, man, I think that just having a relationship with God is I think first and foremost. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm not deep by a long shot, man. I don't even shout. I mean, I'll play shout, but I won't shout. You know what I'm saying? But I love. Well, we know you will, man. But man, I love God with everything that I have, man, and I believe that God knows that, man. And I make sure that we're quick to, like, I don't touch my phones. I don't do anything, man, until the morning, until I give God a little time, man. I read me some scriptures, man. Thank God for another day. And then I get into everything else, man, and just really, continue to show God that, look, God, I'm ready for this, man. Continuing to be, a good steward, man. Wanting to have accountability, wanting to hire people who are smarter than me. Just kind of doing everything. I say, God, if you give me the resources I need to be able to do everything that I know that I'm capable of doing, I say, God, I promise you that you can trust me and that I'm going to do what I'm supposed to be doing, man. And a lot of times we want to blame things on people and we want to blame things on other stuff and all that, man. But we have to start taking accountability. Don't go and buy a BMW when you can only afford a Grand Am, and then when they come and repo your car, or escort, right? And then when the repo man come, then it's almost like, God, why you gotta let this happen to me? No, you knew you couldn't afford it in the first place. That ain't God's fault. That's your fault. You know what I'm saying? So I believe that God had to make sure, because my dad used to tell me, he said, Larry, if you listen to me, man, in your 20s, man, you will be rich, da 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 da. But man, I made so much money, man, when I was 18, 19, 20, in my 20s and stuff like that. I didn't know what to do with the money, man. Gators, getting suits made, changing the rims on my truck like they was underwear, putting sounds on my car, raising my car down, lifting it up, man. I didn't know what to do. I put all these gadgets on my car and I would roll up. My father would say, yeah, and you don't got no alarm on there, huh? You did all this stuff to your car and you don't even pay $300 to get no alarm on there. But I was young, man. I didn't know better, man. And God had to, if God had given me in my 20s what he's given me and showing me where he's taking me right now, man, I probably would have been this age trying to get back what I lost in my 20s because I wasn't really ready for it, man. And, when you think back, it's kind of like them whoopings, man. It's like, man, this might hurt you, but you going to appreciate it, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. When you get older, man. And it's kind of like that, everything that I had to go through, man. And I made up in my mind that I don't ever want to be in those positions again. So I have to be mature and do what it takes in order to make sure I'm not in that position again. If I can just speak for Swole for a moment, man, like Swole, I feel like Swole was probably one of the most prepared musicians that I know, because Swole had kids he had to take care of. I seen this man take care of his daughter. His daughter and his son was always with him, period. They got a great mama, but he kept his kids with him, man. And he made the sacrifices that he needed to make from that little, what you had, a tracker? What kind of car you had?
The Cavalier.
Yeah. But man, I seen him make sacrifices, man. And I think that he went through enough that when he did start making that money he was talking about, man, he prepared for the rainy day. He ain't just go start saying, man, let me go buy me a Benzo and let me go do this, let me go do that. He made the necessary investments, man. He invested. He made sure his kids had food on the table, a place to live, a car to drive, and all of these sacrifices he made, man. And man, it's not in vain, bro. So I think we on the same. I'm glad that we did this interview together today, man, because we were able to just really kind of collaborate and talk about some different things, man. And definitely, man, it's been a journey, man. But man, it's only up from here, man.
It's only up from here. It's only up here. Listen, I want to thank both of y'all again, man. This has just been totally inspiring to me. I see some of my members on chat just dropping lines of inspiration as well. I want to thank y'all, man. Y'all don't understand. Again, I've told y'all, they're some of the most humblest brothers. And Swole was talking about grandma, they being in the church van. It just reminded me of my experience as a pastor's kid. My dad, my mom, they would pick up. Larry, you talk about that escort. We had this big old green church van, and man, I could not stand. It was money green. And I could not stand for them to pick us up from school in that church van with the church name on it and my daddy's name right on the side.
Was it at the church in Rockford where they had that slippery gym floor that we played basketball on? Man, we played basketball in the fall, almost breaking our neck in Rockford, man, because the floor was sweat.
Michelle's them church.
Yeah, man, that was terrible, man.
That's Michelle's them church. Hilarious. Jesse and them still talk about that too, playing ball in Rock.
Man.
No, man.
Yeah, man.
No, man. Same thing, man. Just that whole journey of growing up, being at church 24/7, man. And who would have thought, that we would be where we are today, man. Thankfully, we are in a place, man, where we're able to make some very positive impact. Not just in our families, but in our communities and even around the world, man. So I'm thankful, man, once again, for y'all joining me tonight. Listen, if y'all want to check them out, Larry, where can they catch you at? Social media platforms, where you at?
Man, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. LinkedIn is huge. Did y'all know that? LinkedIn is like a really, really big network. Snapchat,
Did y'all know that?
I got some TikTok moves, man. So hey, y'all to catch me on TikTok. I do the June bug challenge and all that
That's
stuff,
right.
man. So yeah, man. But you know, Snapchat is the after hours. You know how that goes. But yeah, man. So and I have an app, a Larry's Barber College app, man. So anybody, you know, even live out of state who's interested in coming to barber school, we have dorms for them to live in. You know, we have transportation if need be. You know, they can go to larrysbarbercollege.com. For the barber schools, I also have a non-for-profit, which is Data Foundation Inc. So I have a day reporting center as well in Peoria, Illinois, man.
That's
so
right.
I have a contract with the state, man, that, you know, I deal with juveniles. I'm in the Illinois Department of Juvenile Justice, man. So, hey, check me out. If anybody want to give some donations, man, you know, it's definitely tax exempt. We're a 501c3, my non-for-profit side of everything, man. So yeah, that's who I am. That's where y'all can find me at, man. And I like to have fun. I'm saved and sanctified. I'm filled with the precious gift of the Holy Ghost. With a man I want to run on to see what the end's gonna be. I learned that from people testifying when I was little, man. I can say all these testimonies.
Larry Roberts Jr., y'all, is a glorified nut.
He is.
I love him. He's our big brother. I'm serious, y'all. He's been a big brother for all of us.
Yeah.
I ain't that much older than y'all. Don't do that.
Not much, but you are our big brother. You're still a big brother.
Oh goodness. You are shoot. And speaking of, for the musicians and that come across the stream, y'all talk about Swole was talking about how his son used to sit behind Larry, and Larry's nephews used to sit over there the same thing too. And they're doing major things out here. Clemens and Jermaine Poindexter. So I mean, just y'all see the fruit and how fruit is, man. See, that's a whole nother conversation right there. That's a whole nother conversation about the fruit that comes from our obedience. To do what God says to do. Swole, man, where can they catch you? Where can they check you out at? Where you at?
Facebook, Derek Ray. Instagram is Swole Ray 1, SWOLRAY number 1 on Instagram. I don't think I have any other platforms, but
you not on TikTok, man?
Nah, I ain't got time, man. My daughter won't let me do TikTok. You know, I ain't letting me do that. My website, oh my God. My website is faithmoves.online, faithmoves.online, not .com, faithmoves.online, and everything is there. But yeah, Instagram and Facebook and my website. Hit me up if you got any questions.
Hit them up. Y'all, thank you again for tuning in. And listen, we're gonna have, if y'all enjoyed, listen, we're gonna have them back because there's some more fruit in there that I think is we can get out and help to share to be a blessing to you all. So I want to thank y'all once again. Listen, tomorrow night you can catch us on our conference call for prayer. Our prayer team meets every Thursday, 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Join us. Listen, if this blessed you, I want to invite you to help us out. But you can, with your generosity, if you would like to make a donation to Journey of Faith, you can do so. Listen, I'm not that pastor. I don't touch money. I never see it. We have a finance team that handles all of that stuff. And so I'm grateful to be able to share that with you. But I want to invite you, make a donation if you would. You can make a donation. We're on Cash App. We're a technologically conscious congregation. So you can hit us up, Cash App, $JOFUMC. We also on PayPal. You can go to PayPal and search us out. We have multiple ways for giving. You can go to our church website, faithjourneyumc.org. And if you click on the giving tab, you'll see our multiple ways for giving. That you can also make a donation. If you want to mail your donation in, you can do that as well. You can mail that in to Journey of Faith, UMC, P.O. Box 4087, Humble, Texas, 77347. If you would like to make a donation, I invite you to do so to help us to continue the mission of the church. Our mission is to make disciples who are going to make more disciples. I think that the church The problem with the church and the reason that churches are dying and struggling is because we forgot how to make disciples. You can't make disciples, the church grow, and then stop making disciples. You have to constantly be making disciples with a charge for them to make more disciples. That's the only way we're going to impact this world and expand the kingdom mindset at that. So listen, meet us here Sunday. Y'all catch us Sunday live on our church, on our Facebook page, or right here on our YouTube channel. Y'all can catch us, and we'll see y'all then. All right. God bless you. We love you. Peace.